Hello, hello, New Earth Summit. My name is Antonina Andreeva. I am a coach and mentor for awakened, purpose-driven entrepreneurs and leaders. And I will be talking to you today about self-worth being the net worth. This is my chosen topic for this summit. Now, I have prepared some notes, but here is the deal. When I talk from my notes, it ends up feeling scripted and limiting and robotic. And this is the last thing that I want you to experience from this live stream. So therefore, I'm just going to ad-lib it and share with you what I know to be true about the times that we're living right now, about the change in the paradigm, and the way that we are approaching our livelihoods, our relationships, and our business. And then hopefully I'd like to share with you some practical tools that I actually use in my everyday living life to help me be better connected with myself and my environment, and to experience a sense of worthiness and inherent presence in everyday environments. How does that sound? So before we get started, I would like to give you a brief overview of who am I, where do I come from, and what makes me qualified to talk to you about the things that I'm going to be talking to you about. So my professional background is I am a founder and creator of House of Aphrodite. It's an online coaching and self-development company concerned with raising the consciousness of humanity through various mind expansive tools and practices, and delivery of workshops, masterminds, travel adventures, and inspirational, motivational tools. I have also successfully created, launched, and filled and fulfilled online experiences with a difference called One Above Queen, Empress Rising, and Priestess Unleashed. I have been in the online environment near enough 5 years, and I have seen a lot of things shift, come and go. Moreover, I work with the DNA, as well as I work with the Earth's grids. So I clear and activate the Earth's grids, and it is a sort of a planetary service that I perform out of love and dedication to humanity. So I travel to different places, and I clear the portals and bring in new energies, and in doing so, clear that space and kind of create an opening in the energy so that new things can come in. And more than anything, you know, for me, the idea of social distancing and quarantine and all the things that we're living now has started a little bit early, a year to the day to be precise. I run a mastermind with a travel component, and myself and I think it was 5 or 6 women, we traveled to Sicily, the land with a lot of mystery and conveyed by the legend of the Black Madonna. We actually journeyed to connect, travel, and find the Black Madonna, as well as, again, clear the Earth's grid and portals. And when I came home, my life, as I knew it, imploded. my offline business, changed form of my relationship, effectively finished, and I no longer felt welcome in the country that I was living in at the time. It was the strangest feeling in the world. It was as if there was a force that was literally forcing me out of the country. I had just enough time to pack my bags, pack up my life, and move myself and my family to a different location. And when I did, it was a sort of a crash landing. So my life as I knew it completely disintegrated. You know, I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time at home. I spend a lot of time in the elements, just examining, healing, and really coming to terms with what happened. I consider myself fairly versed in the realm of healing, coaching and mentoring. So I know all about transformation and transformational containers. And yeah, this was unlike anything I have ever experienced. Later, I have come to understand that what effectively happened was that I exited the so-called 3D realm or environment, which is our, you know, living, waking life. And I have entered into a space where some of us know as 5D. This is a consciousness, this is an experience whereby you live from the heart. But before I could enter it, I had to go through this process of deactivation or deconstruction and disconnect from the previous thing. And so yes, in the physical space, it looked like a lot of endings, a lot of divorces, and re-examining and reconfiguring a lot of my values and beliefs, and finding new ways of living and being, expressing myself in this new space. And so it was interesting because when the quarantine hit, when the news of the virus, as it were, spreading have hit, and effectively the whole world within days have announced their plans for lockdown, I became aware of the fact that the reason I have gone through the changes that I have gone through, which felt really testing and lonely and confusing and overwhelming at the time, was for this precise moment. I was preparing for a role of a guide and a mentor for the current environment, for the current times. And so I would like to think that I have some first-hand experience in what is happening right now and how this looks like for ourselves as individuals. And I would like to share what I have learned in this past 12 months with you all. So one of the things that became apparent to me is that we as a society, we as a collective, are moving out from what I call ego-based solar plexus, outward-driven experience, 3D experience, into a slightly different energetic space. So energetically speaking, this looks like we have been living in our ego, or aka the energy center that is concerned with our ego, which is essentially the solar plexus, right? Found in just underneath the heart. So just here in the core. And then we're moving into a more heart-based environment, so heart-based living. So the energy is traveling upwards into the heart, which is concerned with compassion, collaboration, co-creation, relationship to all, and an experience that is fueled by beauty and harmony. So quite two energetically different qualities. And so in a way, humanity is graduated. But in order to perform this graduation, in order to exit one space, one environment, and enter into another environment, there are certain things that need to happen. You see, as a whole, we have been living at the expression of our solar plexus in the kind of the over-pernated or unbalanced way, because in a balanced perspective, the solar plexus is concerned with our willpower, expression of our will, our mastering our intellectual abilities, our personal power expression, and being able to establish ideas and turn them into reality through our action, as well as wisdom level changes that are connected, higher level wisdom that is found through being in alignment with our personal will and power. Of course, this is the balanced version. The imbalanced version is very much about being an overactive or underactive function, because it can go both ways. And it looks like keeping up with the Joneses, being overly concerned about what others think or do, being overly focused on one's external appearance, and the discount of our internal wisdom, being manipulative, being oppressive, being pushy, overexerting will over selves and others, and creating restrictions and micromanaging. Sounds familiar, right? All of these are extreme characteristics of a over-functioning solar plexus. Now, there is also the opposite idea of that. The under-functioning solar plexus chakra or energy center looks like being at mercy of others, being controlled by others, being easily manipulative, deeply enjoying one's victim status, and being obsessed with being oppressed, easily possessed by ideology and dogma, and refusing to exert any willpower or any kind of personal stance on anything. So just being easily swayed and controlled and manipulated. And so from where I'm standing, this is something that we're experiencing, both of these polarities. And as a result, we're totally disconnected from our true desires and impulses. We have forgotten what it is that we are wanting to see, experience, or do in this world that isn't programmed into us by our environment, by our educational system, by our ancestral beliefs, or by dictated by our government. And we are no longer sparks of the divine, but rather we're cogs in the machine. And so in the midst of all of this corruption in our natural coding creates this deep sense of disconnect from our inherent worth. You see, when we come into this life, we are inherently and divinely perfectly imperfect, and we are worthy of love and being praised and being accepted for exactly who we are and how we be. And later still, when we enter the stage where the conditioning begins, which usually begins with early education years, we begin to realize that the whole world is in this duality of wrong and right, black and white, good or bad. And so begins the process of self-judgment, which creates the voice of inner critic that is embedded and planted deep in our psyche, that divorces us from our personal power and the highest expression that we have come to know, the divinity. In other words, divorces us from the idea of God, and makes us think and believe that God is a deity outside of ourselves, somebody who sits on a cloud and dictates, or perhaps, you know, who sits on the cloud and dictates our worthiness. And so if you dissect the self-help and self-development industry, or anything that stops us from reaching our full potential, at the very core of it is actually deep sense of guilt, shame, so toxic shame, feelings of guilt, and a deep sense of unworthiness, not being worthy of love, not being worthy of receiving, not being worthy of being seen for who we are and accepted for our truth. And all of these tend to reside or be connected to the solar plexus region, the solar plexus energy center. And so in order to make the transition that we're making right now, which is moving from solar plexus and into the heart space, we must, and do so smoothly, we must find and reconnect to our inbuilt worthiness. And so otherwise we risk dying 1,000 ego deaths, which again, something that we're witnessing today, now. It is a very painful process, and it mustn't be. It really mustn't, if we only were to connect to that part of ourselves. And so the idea and the intention behind this live stream is to help you, give you some information, context, and understanding so that you can begin doing that for yourself. You can begin using this time proactively in order to locate and find and extract this corrupted coding that exists within your system, and draw upon, connect with, integrate, and remember and reawaken to the truth of who you are. And the truth is, you are worthy, and you have always been worthy, and you always be worthy. And incidentally, the true abundance is also connected to that fact. When we remember our worthiness, we remember how fulfilled and rich we truly are. That there isn't a need, or there isn't a hungry ghost that we must feed incessantly with things and food and addictions and unfavorable situation and dramatic, so as to try and make up for the energetic deficit that is our personal will and power and exertion in this world. And so when we find our inherent worthiness, when we reconnect to that knowing, to that remembering, to that truth, we're able to make the ascent into this heart-based experience, heart-based living, where our relationship to our life force, relationship to our body, relationship to our life, food, relationship to our environment, relationship to our consciousness and the collective consciousness is completely, utterly, and uniquely transformed. And so the way it's transformed is you begin to operate, live, and relate to life through the workings of the heart. And what that looks like is you begin to compassionately view misdoings of others, because you are now compassionately viewing the misdoings of yourself. You forgive and forget your past judgments. You let go of limitations. You reawaken to self appreciation, self-love, and respect. And that opens more of your heart space and gives you the ability to receive the beauty that is this planet. You begin to view things through the eyes of beauty and imperfect perfection. You begin to recognize divine design in all you find, and you find and connect to a lot of inner peace. You let go. You let go of being misjudgments and mistrust of life, and you relax into knowing that all that is meant for you is flowing to you, and all that is not meant for you is simply not coming to you. And you trust yourself enough, and you trust yourself, and you trust life enough to know that you don't necessarily have to have the answers and the reasoning behind the why, and instead you begin to enjoy life for what it is, which is this transformative, exciting, engaging, and really fun experience. I call that the game of life. And when you reach the level where you understand that everything is a game and we're all playing in this computer simulated reality, you begin to understand and see and witness and perceive yourself as the creator, giving you access to their creator codes, and giving you the understanding that you can have it any way you want to. So you may choose for the experience to carry a sensation of melancholy or grief, not because you are sick in the head or there's something wrong with you, but simply because you are wanting to have the experience of those feelings, emotions, and sensations. And so therefore, it is very easy to become accepting and engaged and playful with life, and have a totally transformative experience in relating to life, no matter what is happening to you. Because even if you're experiencing something, feeling and emotions, a sensation that you're in resistance to, it only takes a moment to remember that you too are a creator or a co-creator or a head designer of this experience, of this game. And therefore, you have the choice in how you're going to play this level, whether you are going to play it in complete resistance, and, whether you're going to play it in complete acceptance, whether you are going to play it in with interest and engagement, whether you're going to choose a certain avatar personality to play a character, whether or not you want to have a choice of avatars who are playing or co-creators who are playing with you, or whether even going further and understanding that it is only ever you playing with yourself, and therefore you are always winning at the game of life, and you're always winning at the experience, which means that you can create anything you want to, anytime you want to, and you can have it any way, any place you want to, which makes for a very interesting state. You enter a completely different state where you are always in constant communion and communication with all that is. And that the quality of that conversation is determined purely by you. And so in order for us to facilitate this conversation, in order for this conversation to be clean and inspiring and activating and engaging and motivating, there are a couple of things that have come up as a way of making this transformation that I wanted to share with you. A couple of lessons, a couple of nuggets that were made clear to me as these are the kind of the goalposts that one might encounter in this journey. So first of all, you want to start by getting rid of your old conditioning. And what is it that I mean by that? Conditioning is a set of energetic patterns, our belief systems, and other and memories are all stored in our DNA and our cellular structure. You see, a human container, human vessel is an incredibly advanced spiritual technology. And our DNA is a kind of algorithm that is always taking notes of the environment, taking notes and creating a program based on the environment that we're in, set the beliefs that we carry, frequencies that we, and energies that we surround ourselves in, thoughts that we choose, and actions that we take. And then based on that, it takes the notes, write the algorithm, create energetic coding of our system, and then shows up in the physical matter. So, you know, a favorable algorithm, a virus-free algorithm looks like a healthy body, healthy mind, happy, fulfilled life. Whereas a faulty or virus or buggy algorithm would give you a body that is prone to disease or have something that shows up in the physical form, so some sort of unease. It would give you a mind, would create mind loops and belief systems that have you feeling and therefore acting less than, and of course then create your outer reality to match all of that coding, which means that you may be experiencing results that you may not be happy with. So in order to kind of make a different choice, we first have to start there. We first have to clear our DNA and our cellular structure of the faulty coding. And there are various ways of doing it. Incidentally, I work with a system called Sacred DNA method, and this is a potent modality that helps to clear eons of and layers of energetic debris, psychic debris that are stored in our cellular structure, that then writes our algorithm and creates these buggy programs that create our outer reality. There are other methodologies in the world that also do similar but slightly different work. And my suggestion to you is, this is something that you are looking into, you may want to reach out and connect with me and ask me about the work that I do, or you may want to investigate it yourself. So look into things like DNA activation. And of course, it would be an integrity for me to say that our DNA is activating on its own. In fact, part of the transformation that we're undergoing is a DNA activation of sorts. However, this is a transformative process that is that takes a certain length of time, and it is based on how well prepared you are. And so some of the ways that you can assist with this process is by cleansing, detoxing your physical body, which would help and promote health and wellness and create a different conversation in your cellular structure. So your cells are literally communicating with each other, and they pass on messages to each other. So, you know, if you're living the same set of beliefs, you're eating the same food, you're in the same environment, you're watching the same TV program, it simply passes on that very program to the other cell, and servicing continues. The cool thing is that we are always shedding, changing, and transforming, and the cellular structure has a certain life cycle. And so therefore, if you were to start now, in 90 days from now, a majority of your cellular structure will have had transformed. So therefore, if you were to choose some favorable actions, have examined your thoughts, beliefs, and energetic patterns, have started eating better, working out, spending more time in nature, creating a harmonious environment for yourself, choosing loving thoughts, reading and stimulating your mind with material that is promotes health, well-being, and transformation, and just creativity, and just stimulates you and engages you in a different way. In 90 days or less, your cellular structure would have picked up on that and began writing a different algorithm. And the energetic landscape right now is so much so that this change is happening even faster. We're transforming at we're oscillating at a higher rate, and therefore we're transforming faster. And even, you know, and things are different. Our environment is different. Our energetic landscape is changing every few months. It is very much concerned with the sun and how the incoming energies. And so this is the work that needs to be done right now. Looking after your physical vessels, detoxing your body of any unfavorable heavy metals and damaging food and environment. So artificial food colorings and things that aren't of nature and therefore destructive for your cellular structure. It is learning and spending time in an environment that are harmonious for your physical vessel. Again, you know, we are part of this eco structure, eco cycle. We have been born of nature, and so the best way for us to synchronize ourselves to our divine design is actually to spend time in nature with the elements itself, and reconnect us to that which we always were and always are, part of the eco cycle. It is transforming your mindset by reading yourself, or examining rather, thoughts, beliefs, and actions that you carry that shape your personality, and really questioning if these are serving you in any way, shape, or form, and are helping you create a life that not only looks good out on the outside, but actually feels good on the inside. And choosing those feelings, emotions, belief systems, and subsequently actions that support the ideas that you want to take forward and execute and create and bring into the world and build for and integrate, as a way of supporting these this new idea and this new ideals. And it is also understanding, getting curious and connecting to the things that energies inspire, motivate, and really feed your soul, and engage your mind. Um, and in doing so, finding the threads that are present and available to us throughout, that can lead us to uncovering and connecting to the bigger picture that is our purpose. So our purpose is to be the fullness of who we are, and we cannot be the fullness of who we are if we aren't aware of a simple but important and powerful truth, and that is that we are inherently worthy of love. We're inherently worthy of being fully expressed, and we're inherently worthy of being who we are, what we are in any given moment. And so the way to do that is to treat yourself as a curious experiment, and explore who are you behind the mask of conditioning? Who are you when you aren't being pushed and prodded into a particular box? What interests you? What motivates you? What makes you lose time for hours? What engages you to the point where you are completely and utterly engaged with life itself, and you can do so and enter a state that we know as flow, where time as chronos is to exist, and kairos, a different type of experience of time, is activated. And what you would be happy to get paid for doing all day, every day, and it would never feel like work, and it would always feel like play. These are the kind of questions that can be answered when we clear our when we clear our solar plexus and really connect to our intelligence and impulsivity center. And then finally, one of the most important parts of working with this particular center and working with your own worthiness is redefining your relationship to masculine energies. So as such, your chakras or your energetic centers or vortexes do not have a gender or polarity. They don't exist in that sense. However, the expression of this energy is rather outward, therefore young, and a reclamation of this energetic space or essence or energy is very much concerned with understanding and individuating yourself from the conditioning of your ancestry, and usually that means, or rather in this case, it means the conditioning, the patriarchal conditioning, and redefining your relationship with the inner masculine through healing and reconditioning your relationship with your outer masculine. And by that I mean your father or your caretaker, your heavenly father, and or the systematic father, which is the patriarchy, your heavenly father, the religious organization that denomination that you belong in, and then your physical father or caretaking figure. When you rediscover it, and when you redefine those three, you're able to redefine and disconnect from the projection that you carry towards the masculine in the outer world, internalizing in your inner world. So you are able to divorce the projection that you carry towards the masculine in your outer world, and then reconnect with the true masculine potency in your inner world, which redefines your relationship to system structures, purpose, and value, and encourages you and connects you to the feeling of being capable, of being self-serving and supportive, and being activated in your will and your ability to build and create and realize that which you are wanting to bring into the world. So when these are redefined and properly healed and recall, the divine will be completely different. Your relationship to the inner Godhead will be completely different. Your relationship to the monetary system will be completely different, and you will remember yourself as an awakened, a purpose-driven, divine human that you are. And so I would like to conclude my presentation here and invite you to connect further with me in the Summit group, where we're going to be sharing lots of other delightful goodies, presentations, activations, and various things that support your growth and transformation. I also want to invite you to join me on my page or connect with me through various social media channels, or subscribe to my mailing list, where I share practical tools and practices that help you to step into a fuller, more meaningful relationship with yourself, with your life, with your livelihood and your business, and do so without losing your sanity, relationship, or health. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I so look forward to being connected with you on this ride that we call life.